Welcome to Kayak DIY. In this episode, we're going to be going over YakGear, Kayak, Bungee, and hardware replacement kits. YakGear makes several kits available that make it very easy to replace outdated, worn out hardware on your kayak. Let's check it out. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how you can use YakGear's paddle keeper kit to replace your bungee paddle keeper on your kayak. A lot of kayaks come with these bungee paddle keepers, and oftentimes the bungee will either dry out or stretch out and it will be no good, or some of these plastic components in there end up breaking when you maybe bump into them when you're loading, for transport, and you need to replace it. It's really easy to do. First off, you're going to need to take a Phillips head drill, typically, and you're going to need to remove your old one. So on your kayak, remove the old paddle keeper, and then what you're going to do is you're going to measure that distance between the 2 points of where those screws and fasteners were to get the length of bungee that you need. There we go. You can keep that for our instructions. This here is your bungee. They have the bungees pretty long, longer than what you often need, because they want to make sure that you can use the kit. If they gave you too short of a bungee, it might not fit your kayak. So they give you long bungees, and they also give you these fasteners. So right here we have one of the components, and then right here is the other main component. We now need another one of those. So this is what they look like. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to take your bungee, you're going to take the collar, and you'll take this terminal end. Terminal end will slip in until you see it kind of flush up against the back here. Then what you do is you take this and it gets pushed over top of this, and that grabs onto the bungee. Now, to make it where it does that, you have to put a significant amount of force over this. So they recommend that you use a pliers. You just squeeze, and now that's not going anywhere. Now we can go to the other end. Now let's say we needed to cut this bungee. Let's say on our particular kayak the bungee only needed to be this long. You don't want the bungee to have a lot of sag. You want it to be mostly straight. So between your 2 screw points, you want to make sure that the bungee is pretty much straight. It doesn't have to be stretched. You don't want it to be stretched, because otherwise you're going to wear out the bungee prematurely. But you don't want it to be like this. You don't want it to be like that. So more like this. You're then going to take however much you need to cut off. So let's say we were going to cut off here. We would cut it. We would then take a lighter and just briefly run a flame over it to kind of seal up those ends. We'll take our collar. We'll take our terminal end. There you go. You can see it protruding just slightly past there. And now you try to press it onto the terminal end. Take your pliers. And you just kind of squeeze, and now it's snapped on. And now we'd be ready to mount it to the kayak. So next, Don't want to over tighten because you'll break the plastic clip. Okay, perfect. So now when it wraps around there, it will be secure. We could put this in. This here's a little hook that came with the kit. We could mount it right on top there if we wanted to. I'll take our screw. If you have a kayak that's like a sit inside kayak or a kayak where you're concerned about the sharp points of the screws, the kit does come with these rubber caps that will slide over the screw points. Okay, now taking a look at the handles in the front and back of the kayak. We're going to use this toggle handle kit produced by YakGear. It's a double pack. So there they are. These are pretty simple to install. So first we have to remove the old toggle handle. I'm just going to cut it because I'm not planning on keeping it. I mean, it's kind of junk anyway. Then I take the new one, slip it through this way, take that loop that you see here, run it through here, and now we have a new handle. And it looks much, much better. Okay, now we have this dried out bungee. This is no good. This bungee feels terrible. It doesn't feel like quality. It's dry rotted. We need to put a new bungee in. So we'll undo this. We'll take it all kind of apart here. Then what we'll do is we'll push through one of the knots here. So I'm going to keep this plastic piece, but I'm getting rid of the bungee. If the knot doesn't want to come out, I can always cut it, but I don't want to cut it too short because I'm going to use this bungee as an approximate measurement for the new bungee. Yep, I'm just going to cut it. I'm just cutting the knot off. There. Okay, now I can pull the old bungee out. So there's the old bungee. I can then take the YakGear replacement bungee kit. There's 18 feet in here. We don't need that much. So we're gonna cut it to size. So this is what's in the kit. Now we could use this as a measurement and just cut the new bungee based on kind of what we're seeing there, but cut it just a hair shorter. Or we can run it through and we could measure that way. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do. That's the quick way of doing it. I'm gonna take that plastic piece, the original clip, going to tie a knot. There we go. That's pretty good. I can trim that tag end later on. I'm then gonna take the bungee and run it through. I'm going to clip it to that pad eye. I'm just going to start pulling it tight. Okay, something like right around there is where I'm going to need to be cutting it. Then quick cut this end, pull that piece out. Get rid of the old bungee there, we don't need it anymore. Take this new bungee. Run it through, do a knot. There we go. Clip it back on. And now we just replaced our bungee. It's nice and tight, feels a lot better, and should last another several years. So on that blue kayak you just saw, we replaced the bungee. We already had the pad eyes, we already had the ways to attach the bungee, we only needed the bungee. So we bought the YAK-GEAR replacement bungee kit. But if you never had a deck bungee kit on your kayak, you could add your own, you would just need the correct kit, which is this one, the YakGear Deck Bungee Kit. Okay, using the leftover stuff from the paddle keeper kit, they had some leftover fittings like this. I ended up replacing the bungee here and that fitting, and I kept the original hook. So now pretty much everything on this kayak that has bungee attached to it is new, and it looks much better, and it didn't cost a whole lot. All of these parts you can find in our link in the video description below. Our store, which is on Amazon, carries a lot of these YakGear products. So if you purchase through our store on Amazon, you're helping fund the channel. And you don't pay any more higher prices than you would in general. So we help link you up to the products that get the job done. And in turn, by you purchasing those products, you help fund the channel. And we appreciate it.